Hi everyone, Tom from Groundworks Education Team here. We deliver school visits and family activities at West Borden Lodge and Jarrow Hall. Today we're going to take a look at nettles. I'll explain how to identify a nettle and even some common uses of a nettle both now and in the past. There's also a link to a nettle soup recipe in the description here. First up, do you know what will happen if you touch a nettle? It can sting you. So if you are doing anything with nettles, you need to be careful and wear gloves that are thick or gardening gloves or rubber coated gloves. Nettles are really useful plants, even if most people nowadays see them as weeds. But before you can use anything in nature, you need to know exactly what it is. So let's take a look at a nettle here and how we can identify it. Now, nettles normally grow in big clumps and they can cover a whole area. They cope really well with disturbed ground, so you'll often find them in a garden, along the edge of a footpath, or even some waste ground. A nettle has a stem going up the middle, and coming off the stem at the same height you'll find opposite pairs of leaves. So same height but leaves coming off in opposite directions. The leaves themselves are heart-shaped with jagged or serrated edges. One of the main identifying features of a nettle is its sting. If you look carefully at the stem and underneath the leaves of a nettle, you can see they're actually covered with tiny hollow needles or hairs. When you touch a nettle, these hairs break and the chemicals inside come out and they get onto your skin. That's what causes the itching sensation. So nettles have evolved this defence in an attempt to stop animals from eating them. So, now we know how to identify a nettle, but do you know any uses? If you want, pause the video and think about how you could use a nettle. Got some ideas? Great! Well, I gave away one use of a nettle at the start of this video. They can be eaten. Now, they're really high in vitamin C and protein, so they've been a small but important part of the human diet for a long time. They can be used in much the same way as spinach, and if you don't fancy the idea of getting stung on your tongue, then don't worry, boiling them means that you won't get stung. As well as being used as a tasty ingredient, nettles have been eaten or made into a tea as a medicinal cure for arthritis, and although it's not completely proven, there's lots of evidence to suggest that nettles do help to reduce inflammation. It's even rumoured that the Romans used nettles to stay warm. They supposedly rubbed them on their skin, and the burning sensation helped them in the cold British climate. Nettles have other uses too. The stems are really fibrous, which means with a little bit of work you can get lots of long thin threads from the nettle. These can be used to make textiles or clothing, and have been used for thousands of years, right up to the Second World War in fact. But nettles can be used for clothing in another way. Their green colour can be used to make a natural dye, and again there's evidence of that being used in Anglo-Saxon times and beyond. Finally though, nettles aren't just good for humans, they're also really beneficial for some wildlife. Some butterflies lay their eggs on the underneath of nettle leaves. Can you think why that might be? It's so that when the caterpillars hatch, they've got lots of tasty leaves to munch down on straight away. And we all know how hungry a caterpillar can be. So that's why we make sure we leave lots of space at Jarrow Hall and West Borden Lodge in the woodlands and the meadows so that nettles can grow and be beneficial for wildlife. Well, I hope you've enjoyed taking a closer look at this familiar plant. Maybe you can now leave some space for nettles to grow in your garden or home, and maybe you'll even fancy eating some of them as well. Remember, if you are going to be handling nettles, do take care not to be stung. Thanks for watching.